Patrick Odayafati says, "Hi, Keanu and Lucas. I hope you're both doing well. I think if Dani Ceballos stays, he can be an important squad player for us. Towards the end of the season, in his brief cameos, he looked very sharp and committed. He brings a different edge and tenacity to midfield that the others don't bring. I know he won't get many starts in the league or big Champions League matches, but he can add something, especially if he's still here after the transfer window. Am I reaching? I really feel like Carlo will keep him plugged in. What are your thoughts?"
Hopefully, I also believe that he can be a useful player. I would like Ancelotti to rotate more often than he did last season, because I think that now he has the depth to do so. I truly believe that he will not only he will need to rotate more often because of the World Cup, but he also has the tools to do it more often than he did last season. So hopefully he finds a way to give Camavinga more minutes, to give Ceballos more minutes. Obviously, he needs to find a way to give Tchouaméni minutes to develop up and play consistently, because transfer fee was huge. So it's all in Ancelotti's hands now. I also believe that he has the tools to rotate more often now. I think Ceballos is reliable enough to play against 75% of La Liga teams, at least at the Bernabeu. I think he's reliable enough to get the job done against around 75% of those teams. So I think Ancelotti has the opportunity to manage his roster way better than he did last season. So hopefully he does that if Ceballos stays, and also even if Ceballos doesn't stay.
So you reported today on Managing Madrid that, according to your sources, that club is leaning for him to stay. And one of the things that I found interesting, because part of the reason that he may stay is because potentially there's no destination for him.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, truly insane. Because, I was rewatching a lot of those Champions League knockout games that we played this season, and one of the most underrated little details of it was Ceballos' performances off the bench. He was really, really good. So much energy, and it wasn't like the frenetic, just uncontrolled energy. It was really, really good pressing. It was aggressiveness. It was hounding the opponents. It was really good progressive play. And what Betis had to reportedly shell for him was only 10 million. How can they not afford that? That was worrying to me also for them. but how is there no market for him? Or maybe Ceballos is saying maybe I'll just rather stay if it's not Betis or someone that I'm really interested in going to and fight for my place. And maybe Fede Valverde going the right wing opens up some minutes for him in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think this is... Because to me, I certainly am not upset about keeping him, because I actually like to have him as insurance, and I actually feel like he might actually play his way into the rotation. He does have, to Patrick's point, he does have a little something to him that differentiates himself from the other players, and that he's very tenacious and has good vision in the final third, and does also fit in the box-to-box role where you can just kind of plug him in if Camavinga can't play or one of the other midfielders can't play and Fede Valverde is starting on the right wing. He could definitely bring some good minutes there. So do you see him basically... I don't know if this... It's hard for me to talk so black and white, because I think we're going to see various different lineups, but could he basically just soak more of Fede's minutes if Fede goes to the right wing more?
I'm not sure. I think the first backup for Fede's minutes will be Camavinga, and Ceballos will kind of rotate more often for Kroos. I think that's just my feeling about it. I think that he's a more similar player to Kroos than he is of Valverde.
Yep.
Ceballos likes to keep the possession of the ball and all that. So I see him more as a backup of Kroos rather than as a backup for Fede. And Fede himself being a backup, it's a tough situation for Ceballos if he stays. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll be last in the depth chart in the midfield, so it won't be easy for him to play the minutes he wants to play in order to compete for a spot in the World Cup. I think if he stays, that ship is obviously sailing. But at the same time, I think that he can be an interesting replacement for Kroos. It all depends about whether or not Ancelotti will be willing to rotate his midfield more often than he did last season, because I truly believe that last season he should have found more minutes, especially for a player like Camavinga, who pretty much showed great signs every time he got on the field. So again, I think Real Madrid are in a situation where they can actually rotate their midfield way more often than they did last season, especially in some of La Liga home games. I can see Ceballos getting the job done against the Osasunas of the world at the Bernabeu, no problem. So I just don't. I just hope that we don't see the veterans like Modric and Kroos playing endless minutes against a smaller opposition at the Bernabeu. But again, I think Ceballos can be a very good replacement for Kroos, and actually, possibly, if you want to keep playing your style, may actually be the best replacement for Kroos we have in the roster right now.
Yeah, stylistically and just from a pure ball progression standpoint, I think I agree with you that the Kroos like for like replacement makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see if he can work his way into the rotation more. Certainly, Ancelotti did trust him as the season wore on, and I think that's probably a good sign for him. And from by all accounts and reports, Ancelotti likes what he sees from him in preseason and wants to keep him. So I think there's also, I don't think the club is urgent or desperate to maybe send him off anyway, because I think they really like him. So it'll be interesting to see how this one goes. Like, honestly, as of right now, if everything just started today like this, I'm pretty happy with our squad. I think we have solid depth. I mean, we do complain about right wing at all, man, but we actually have 4 players who can actually play there, minimum. 4 players who, like, realistic, you can be like, okay, that guy can play on the right wing. Fede, Rodrigo, Lucas Vasquez, and Asensio. Those 4. That's 4 right there. And Ceballos staying also just added insurance. So I actually like it. What's up, Madridistas? This is Kiyan Sobani. Hope you enjoyed that segment. It is from the world-famous Real Madrid mailbag, which goes up every single week exclusively over on patreon.com/managingmadrid. Lucas Navarrete and I, we go through all of the Real Madrid questions that are sent in by patrons, and there are a ton of them. The episodes range anywhere from 1 hour to 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it's just a ton of great content. The questions are amazing, and we have a lot of fun answering them. So if you want access to that, plus a lot of exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/managingmadrid. We'll see you on the inside, and hope to see you soon in this ever-growing Real Madrid family. Thank you, and we'll see you there.